Favorite unit in the whole lineup, the Infiltrator, who cannot have mods. But what he can do is use this ability, Holoshift. This lets us transform into any tier 1 or tier 2 unit with non-mechanical. Right? We can use all of their abilities. We can do anything that they can do. Right? So you can, for example, turn into an assembly reverse engineer and then immediately create a little assembly robot bomb bot thing. Right?
Yeah.
You can turn into a hopper hound and then jump onto another hopper hound.
Cool. We have you back on stream, Tom. It's been a while.
It has indeed been a while. Yeah, been very busy since we did the T-Rex stuff. That was 2 or 3 months ago, I think, that came out. And we've been working really hard on the invasions. The next expansion, which is coming out on the 26th of May. We will be playing with the Shekar. These guys. Okay, so we have a look at. Just quickly go back so you can see it from here in all his glory. This is Octagon Bat. So, the Shekar waited at the edge of the known star union, preparing and researching, spying from within. Now, with the fall of the union, they are ready to strike and conquer that which is their right. Okay, so these are the new race that we've added. They're all about invading people. They're all about war and stuff like that. I kind of felt like, a lot of the races that we added into the game, with maybe the exception of the assembly, they're all kind of nice, and a bit like diplomatic-y. So it's nice to have a race which is all about just like going and stomping all over people. They are sneaky as well. That's a big part of their thing. They are aliens, but what happened was they were they weren't strong enough to invade the Star Union when the Star Union was at its height. So they sat on the edges of Star Union space and sent spies and infiltrators to steal all of the Star Union technology. So that's why they have Star Union technology. That's why this guy, for example, is a Celestian.
Yeah.
But, the only reason they were doing that was so they could invade. And now the Star Union has fallen. The time to invade is now. So the starting bonuses is actually quite pathetic. There's very weak, the first starting bonus. Aquatic deployment. They are semi-aquatic race. Almost all of their units can actually just move onto the water just by walking onto it. So obviously they have to start with aquatic deployment. So this wouldn't really make much sense if they had to wait before moving stuff onto the water, building water colonies and stuff. Their long-term bonus is all racial tech research is 10% faster. So not only their racial tech research, but any other racial tech that they get from other races is also faster. Also, if you use the Infiltrate Operations Center operation, this one, you can steal another race's tech tree. Access to it, not the text itself. So that means if a normal person, if you're playing Amazon assembly tech, you have to have an assembly city, assembly colony. These guys, though, what we have to do is meet an assembly guy, use Infiltrate Operations Center, and that will give you their tech tree, right? Which you can research faster. So in theory, you could steal someone else's tech tree and research it faster than they could. In theory. They use a new weapons group, the Sound weapons group. Sound actually uses the kinetic damage channel. We felt that there were already quite a lot of damage channels in the game, and adding a sound damage channel was a bit weird, so they just used the kinetic one. Basically, it's all about disorienting, impairing, and staggering. And when you see in game, you'll notice that the units that use pure sound weapon, they tend to be the support units. So their weapon tech's also a bit supportory. They can use holograms to infiltrate, confuse, and mirror their enemies. Broadcasting and propaganda, amphibious units, as I just said, and they have a special ability called epimorphic regeneration. Now, the guy who designed all of these words are taken directly from Wikipedia. So, as far as I know, epimorphic regeneration is really a thing. I just don't know what it means. Quick flip through the kind of people you can make as a Shekar. Hello. It's like cool hats. I have all of the pre-order stuff, by the way. So if you don't have the pre-order stuff, I think, for example, these classes are from the pre-order bonuses and stuff like that. It's badass, isn't it? It's really colourful. So, interesting thing to say about the Shekar is that they have 2 casts. 3 casts, actually. But the 2 important casts are the Domok cast, and I think this is Domok armor. And the Domok are all about beating people up. Yeah, it's all about invasion and war and just sheer brute force. The other cast is a Zardas cast, and this is Zardas armor here. Yeah. The Zardas are the infiltrators and the sneaks and the spies and stuff like that. So the idea is that the Zardas land, infiltrate, steal all the secrets. I believe the term is the 5th column. I think that's how it's called. And then once they've set up their 5th column and sort of like shut down all the enemy defenses and everything, the Domok roll in and trash everything. The 3rd cast is called Gamma, and that is the leadership cast, and we are Gamma. So the leader, this guy is a Gamma class. Okay, and so that means that the character you play is neither Domok or Zardas, they're both. Here we are. Okay, so if anyone's curious what the settings are, we are playing against hard level AI. It is a medium-sized map, and it is a continents map, so there's going to be lots of water. The reason I chose hard is as a normal AI, for anyone who is actually in any way good at the game, is too easy. Hard gives you a little bit of a boost, and we're on 8 players on a medium map, which is 2 more than the standard, just so that we have something more interesting that would happen. Like, if you, especially on a continents map, if you play with 6 people on a medium map, you know, sometimes it could be 10 or 15 turns before you meet anybody. This is not going to be the case here. Okay? Right, so this is our starting position. The Crimson Fastness is our starting city, and we are starting next to the Spacers faction. The Spacers are quite good for us because they have some nice ones with lasers, and they use laser weapons themselves, which is cool because we use lasers. I'll show you the tech tree soon. I believe that we have taken the tech, the thing, you know, the starty thing that lets you start with more techs, that one. We took that. So we start with aquatic deployment. Yeah. But research development is one of our roles.
Conclusion, knowledge is power.
Yes, knowledge is power.
Knowledge is power.
Heavy laser application. And we are Promethean. And let's have a quick look at our starting units. So starting scout, the Shekar Recon, the Zardas unit. It's all about knowledge collection and infiltration. That means it's using sound guns, sonopulse. Special things about this guy, he has water. So that means that when he's flying over the water, no one can see him. And a recon boy. So he can launch a little thingy onto the ground, and anybody nearby the little thingy is easy to hit. Okay. Next we have the Raider. So this is a standard tier 1 infantry. It is Domok, so about punching people. And their main weapon is this, the Omni Carbine. So if you see Omni in front of a weapon, that means it is a combined laser weapon. Yeah? Okay. And it means it does 2 damage tunnels at once. Kinetic damage and thermal damage. This weapon actually has a bit of a built-in debuff. It does a ton of damage. 6 damage or 12 is huge for a unit of this type. I think, for example, the melee attack on a Frenzied is only 10. But the problem with this is it does 1 less damage per hex away we are from the target. So if we tried to shoot someone at range 5, it would do 6 thermal and 1 physical. Yeah? So we have to, if we want to get that full damage, we have to stand right next to the enemy to do it. Okay. Yeah? And because it's not a melee unit, it doesn't get melee overwatch. So, although it does a lot of damage, it does have this sort of a bit of a downside. Another thing, other attack is Omni Rush. This is a sort of a line AoE, which does a huge impact on the person next to you and the person behind them, and that can stun people. So this is our emergency get out of jail free card. If someone gets too close to us, fire this and blast them. We have our epimorphic regeneration, in which we can see if we take damage, we will regenerate 8 hit points at the start of our next turn. Okay. Right? So rather than so that means effectively you want to take us down by doing a lot of damage quickly. It's not a good idea to try and chip away at these guys slowly over time, since if you do less than 8 damage in a turn, you might as well have done no damage at all. Yep. And finally, because during the closed beta, we had some difficulty getting these guys balanced because they were a little bit too strong. They have this Xeno Debilitation, the fatal flaw behind the alien invaders proved to be their undoing. Their physiology means they have less resistance to status effects as normal units. There is a mod that we can get later that counters this, but early on, an easy counter for Shekar, any status effects work very well on Shekar until you spend some points getting a particular mod later. Okay?
Gotcha.
Next, favorite unit in the whole lineup, the Infiltrator, who cannot have mods. But what he can do is use this ability, Holoshift. This lets us transform into any tier 1 or tier 2 unit which is non-mechanical. Right? We can use all of their abilities. We can do anything that they can do, right? So you can, for example, turn into an assembly reverse engineer and then immediately create a little assembly robot bomb bot thing, right? Yeah. You can turn into a hopper hound and then jump onto another hopper hound if you want. Right? This unit is the best. Also, it has a secondary ability, Holoshift, which means that it remembers the last thing it shifted into, and you can change into that again if you want. Later on, you get a tech, which means you can Holoshift into mechanical unit. So that's switched off early on. So I'll show you when we get to the tech tree next time. But as you go through the tech tree, you can shift into more things, and you get more powerful as you shift. Finally, we're starting with a Purifier, the Shekar Purifier. Plasma Claw. Badass.
They look amazing.
Yes. So this is actually quite good because it's good to have a melee unit when you're with the Shekar. It's useful. And then finally, our hero, Fury and Flams. She is armed with an Omni Cannon, which is an absurdly overpowered weapon. The beta test is still too overpowered. We couldn't figure out how to nerf it, so lol. Anyway, this is a single shot. Basically, it's like a brokenly overpowered shotgun. It's great and I love it. Our secondary weapon is a sonic pistol, which is a repeating gun. Okay, and the first thing we want to build is the Skirmisher Barracks. This unlocks the Deadeye, which in my opinion is something you should always rush for if you're playing the Shekar. It's an incredibly good ranged unit. And it really is like the backbone of your armies. Hanging out in the ruins. Come.
Dun, dun, dun.
Right. Okay, so normally with this kind of army, they have a flying unit, which would be a pain in the butt, except now. Where can I stand? Flying. I'm a flying unit too. Woo! Hello. Okay, cool. So that's gonna stand there. And what should we do? I think this guy is gonna just make standard Overwatch here. And our raiders. Raiders are basically short-range units, so it can be tempting to send them very early, but typically it's a good idea not to send them very far forwards because they will die quite quickly. They're kind of tough, but they're still only tier 1 units, and if they get overexposed, they get torn to pieces. So also, we don't really start with any healing. The only healing we've got is the epimorphic regeneration. So if I make a mistake and they take lots of damage, I've got no way of fixing it. So I need to be a bit careful. And then our little drone. The trick you can do with a drone is you can kind of try and figure out where do we think the land unit will end up with. I think he's going to run through here and stand around here somewhere. So I'm going to chuck this on the floor there, and hopefully he'll stand next to it and make him. Okay, flies forwards.
Yeah. Nice.
Yeah, 40. He ran another route. Damn it. I don't know if the recon buoy works on flyers. I don't think it does.
Operations available.
Okay, so and we do have an operation. We start with the left strike. I don't think that's necessary. Okay, so flyer versus flyer. Boop. Got him.
Enemy killed.
Yep, and then we'll send our Purifier, so melee unit, to go and tie this guy down. Don't need to worry about it for a little while. Or I might just miss. Get beaten. Okay, so. Our scout, the good thing about the scout is because we've got sonic weaponry, sonic weapon scat stagger, so I should probably have done that first. If I'd staggered him first, then he wouldn't have been able to hit me back. Okay, but anyway, that's at least reduced his damage after a bit. Gonna hit him? Oh! Ow!
Critical hit.
Now, why did the beta testers say that this weapon was ridiculously overpowered? Well, I don't know, it seems fun. Anyway. Right, so we're going to stand over here. We can Omni Rush and see if we can, which at least will stagger the guy. Also, because, damn it, we set him on fire with Immolated, but also because we, when the Purifier hits someone, he sets the ground underneath them on fire. So whilst this guy stood there, he stood on a fire. Also cool. I think we just finish him off there. Correct. Okay.
Superior once more.
Excellent. Okay, so glory to us, we win. First thing that people might notice is that the weapons text trees look very different now. Yeah, so people might remember in the society text tree, what we did was added all of these extra unlock paths. So that people, because what was happening was, in order to get, for example, here, you had to go, and that essentially meant you had to use any covert ops, you had to dedicate yourself wholly to it. There was no way of skipping it. So we added in these shortcuts. I mean, some here as well, so that players had a bit more flexibility, because what was essentially happening was, getting here, you'd never do that, because that would mean to slow down, for example, getting accelerated force deployment or whatever, which is way more important. And we decided to apply the same logic to the weapon techs. So now you can see both weapon techs share and unlock each other. Because we started with heavy laser application, we can now skip the first sonic tech if we want, go straight to the second sonic tech. Similarly, we can skip then photon acceleration if we want. So we could just go boop, 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 boop. Also, in order to spice things up a little bit more, we changed some of the mods to make them more interesting. For example, now, Hardlight, this mod, I think this was moved, this used to be someone else, is now a defensive mod, right? Rather than being a damage mod, which means that if I put this and this on my unit, I actually now make a unit which is tougher, whereas before I'd make a unit which was a glass cannon. Yeah, there's a bunch of other stuff that's changed that we'll get to. So yeah, that's a cool new thing for people to play with. So we start off, we have portable scanners and replicating restoration. So this is our first healing operation, which is extremely useful. And portable scanners is our detector mod. It also analyze the people that we shoot at. So if we hit someone with this, then they are resistance is reduced, which makes them take more damage in the future. But our first goal is this, the Xeno Defense module. What this does is this gives us 3 damage resistance, and this will also be resistance against status effects. So the last type of damage we took, right? So if somebody shoots me with a thermal weapon, a laser gun, I will get +3 thermal resistance after the damage is applied. But that means if then someone hits me with a shock weapon, an arc weapon, I then will lose the thermal resistance, shock resistance instead. So if you're fighting an army which is the same damage type, you effectively end up with +3 resistance against that damage type. But if the other person is using multiple damage types, then it won't do very much. Okay, so we could also go for sonic weaponry. The way these work is they tend to be things which are good on repeating weapons. So disorientation basically makes a unit its attacks. There's an armor melt here. There is this one, acute pitch, which basically builds up. You need that thing where someone sings and the glass explodes? Yeah, that's this, right? So you shoot someone and resonance hits them. If you get 3 stacks of resonance on the unit, I'm talking bullshit. That's not actually this mod, that's this mod. Reverb is what I'm talking about, sorry. They both begin with RE, I always get them mixed up. Resonance just reduces your resistance to kinetic damage. Reverb, if you have 3 stacks of reverb, then you explode and damage yourself and everybody next to you. So on its own, reverb does absolutely nothing, but if you can get 3 stacks of reverb on someone, then you take a big chunk of damage and everybody next to you also takes a big chunk of damage, if you see what I mean. So we could go that path as well, but I think, fine, we'll go for Xeno Defense mod just to make us tougher, okay. Also need to choose a society. Our starting doctrines, in case anybody's wondering, are a dwelling intimidation. So we get a 10% discount for buying things from from NPC factions, or the faction war quest rewards, we get them from 6 units instead of 10. So if we were to start killing all of the spacers, we get way more stuff from killing them than before.
Cool.
Or homeworld reminiscence. Essentially, if we have water in our colonies, either through rivers or sea, then we get food and happiness in our city. But first we need to make new cities. So we're going to get to frontier facilities. Look at this guy. So essentially, he's got the Omni Cannon, which is essentially an enormously big shotgun.
Yeah.
And then he's got the Omni Perforator. So this is only range 7, but it hits a line behind the target. So you hit it, it'll also hit things behind it as well. It's absurdly powerful.
People are really liking the look of the Deadeye.
Oh!
I've
forgotten about this. This is a new thing that we put in the game. If you have played Age of Wonders 3, and I think it was the Golden Realms expansion, this is a similar feature, world events. So what's happening is, the colonies produce 50% food, best food, great. Every 2 turns during tactical combat, armor on all units. So for the next 5 turns, if we had armor, which I think we do, we are going to be in trouble. And everyone's going to be growing more slowly. Should we fight them, or should we let them run away?
Fight them. I think people want to see you fight.
I hate Beetles. Beetles are really not a good thing to fight if you are playing Shekar, because they do damage when you stand next to them.
You should have said that before asking me if we should let them run away or not.
Oh, it'll be fine. I'm a beetle. Boop. Hoss. Okay, cool. So now we're a beetle too. And this could be worse. At least it's not the blue ones. The blue ones are complete dicks. Okay, so throw this over here. Obviously, the fire forts are resistant to fire, so it's mainly the beetles we're going to be aiming for. And the raiders. Yeah, there's not much space to approach safely here.
An interesting question from Ferrus Animus in chat.
Okay.
Now when you turn into a beetle with the infiltrator,
yes.
Can it evolve?
No.
I kind of guessed.
Sorry, yeah. No, can't evolve. Okay, oh shit, okay, so the good thing about this is the recon boy, another good thing about it is it technically counts as a unit, so you can put it in the way, so we can force the enemy to walk around it, so we can make little choke points with it. Also, sometimes the AI will get pissed off with it and try and break it and place it. Okay, what are you gonna do? Fuck. It's raining.
That looks disgusting, by the way.
It does look disgusting. Okay. Yeah, this is cool. Look, they were getting stuck and they're sitting in the fire behind us. Okay, excellent. Oh, brilliant. Yeah, stand there. Block them off. Okay.
Operations available for price.
Choke point
Excellent.
indeed.
Okay. Cool. So what we're going to do? Okay. If I run up to this, he's going to explode, and then he's going to... I think, actually, it would be good... So what's going to happen is if I kill this guy, he's going to explode, and he might kill the recon boy. But I don't think I have any other choice. But, however, these things are weak against biochemicals, so it's probably better to actually just shoot these... Oh, yeah, there's one shot. Correct.
Nice.
Okay, well, a sniper. Should we hit with a sniper? No, because these guys are short-range units. So, oh, yeah. He's got nothing. He could run and hit that guy. Okay. No, not that. Okay, fine.
It's okay.
Okay. Okay, so this guy. Oh. Is this a beetle? God damn it, you! Fine, no, it's okay. Just miss. Okay, punch this guy. Yay. Not having much luck here, am I? Is this... Okay, so who have we got left? We've got another red. You've got to be able to hit this thing. I'll call 95%.
95%.
Yeah, he's immolated. Oh, whoa! So he's immolated, which meant that he was much easier. So I'm not sure how. Okay, and then finally our sniper guy.
I'm just gonna take some time to answer Adrian here. It says Tom got some audio issues.
Do I?
So I think that you're cutting out once in a while.
Oh, okay. Is there anything I can do about that?
It cuts him in the most important moments of speech.
I'm sorry. I'm not sure there's much I can do.
No, it's not much
It's
we
gonna
can
be a
do.
connection.
Yeah, it's probably because we're calling over Discord right now, and it might be a bit stressed on the server we're on. So hopefully it gets better.
Yeah, obviously also we're on my home connection rather than.
Yeah, it's not ideal, but we wanted to make sure that we could see the new cool stuff. So
Yep. Okay. Excellent.
nice.
Cool. Next. Oh, hello.
Hello.
It's Neela Abaz, the syndicate. And she needs a friend, and she wants to avoid wars. So, another thing that... Oh, sorry. the table. Another thing added is we've done a big pass over the diplomacy system. This was actually something that was originally planned Tyrannosaurus patch, but we ran out of time, so we decided to do it a bit later. One of the big changes that we've made to the system is that we've added a ton of extra information to the opinion system. Before, for various reasons, there used to be a lot of hidden information there. So, like, the AI always used to think, oh, I need a friend because I don't know, I'm not friends with anybody. And you used to think, oh, I want to avoid wars because it's early. But the AI would just never tell you that. Now, all of this stuff is more clearly delineated. So it's much easier to see what the AI actually thinks and why it thinks it, yeah? So you can see that this guy likes us simply because they are feeling lonely and it's early in the game and dislike us, which essentially makes him similar to most other people. Actually, when you're playing early, you don't really want to war that early, and you didn't really want to start an alliance. You'll also notice 2 new personality traits. Yeah. Now, there's various ways we can. Yeah. We can infiltrate them. So if we send a spy to infiltrate their command center, we'll discover what their personality traits are. Mm-hmm. But with the preference trait, we might trigger that by accident. For example, a preference trait might be something like they like people who declare war on NPC factions. Yeah. So if we declare war on an NPC faction, they might all of a sudden go, "Oh yeah, you're my friend because you're doing something I like." Right?
Yeah.
Similarly, if we make friends with an NPC faction, they might get upset at us because we're doing the opposite of what they like. So it might be revealed automatically, or it might just wait. We'll have to see. But we don't know what this person's traits are right now. Anyway, nice to meet you, I guess. Let's meet these guys. Hello, friends! Okay, so for those of you who are new to the game, every time on standard map settings, on some of the more special maps, like campaign maps, you will almost always have a settlement of your own race nearby. And they will almost always cost 45 influence to buy. So generally speaking, unless you're like doing some kind of hardcore PvP rush, you should always make friends with your first NPC faction, do quests for them, so you can get this quicker. There are other ways of approaching it, but if you're playing single player and you're not trying to do something crazy early on, that's how to do it. So convince these people to join us. So an interesting question is, did my infiltrator pick up a second form from the last fight we had, or can it still turn into a beetle? Oh, look at that, 3 people. Can I hit? Nice. Doom strike. Okay, cool. So now there's fiery flames in front of them, and they've all been staggered, so they can't move as far, and they're damaged. So hopefully they'll all die when they try to walk through the fire here. Got 3 minutes to finish the fight. Run. Quick. I'm a beetle. Woo. Okay, you can just go into defense mode, and then you can run forwards. Overwatch. No. False.
Better.
Defense mode. Raiders run. I'm running out of time. The Stellaris people are going to be so angry. Okay. End of turn. See what these guys do. Okay. So now, why don't you all die by running through Overwatch and? Okay, fine. Go round it then. Okay, so we jumped on my baby. Yes. See, the thing is, like, oh god damn it! Oh yeah, shoot him, blast him. Wrecked. Turns out the AI is actually. He kills himself by running through the fire. Okay, so this guy's stuck in the fire, so we can't do anything. Beetle strikes back. Excellent. Out.
I love that voice line.
Good to see.
Annihilated.
Okay, cool. So he's been analysed, which makes a fuck ton of damage from the next thing it shoots him. The good thing about Deadeyes is that they're incredibly mobile. They have actually got, if people are interested, although they're 32, they count as cumbersome. Do they not? Yeah, cumbersome. So they can't actually move very far in combat, which is their biggest weakness. But they are so dangerous. Wrecked. Oh, I'm crazed. Shit. Okay. Oh, and you. Oh, everyone's in the way. Get out of the bloody way. Shoot him. Can you kill him? Okay. Easy. Punch this guy in the face for a glorious victory. Right. Just in time.
Very nice.
Forces are victorious.
Cool. And if people have more questions and stuff, there's always the forums. We lurk around there all the time. And
yes.
I guess until next time, take care, everyone.
Yeah, take care. Bye-bye.